So 2021 has been quite a year in pivoting for most companies. And pivoting isn't a new concept, but it certainly was a muscle that most companies had to use over this past year. In fact, according to Predictive Index, over 96% of CEOs said that they did pivot during the pandemic, the start of the pandemic, and 53% have said that it's one of the most important things moving forward. So what does this mean to you? There is a really good chance that your company has been pivoting and is likely to do it in 2022. So given this, my favorite curious and quirky topic is pivoting with 3 different companies. And they're at different levels of pivoting. So the first is Pfizer. Pfizer, they win for best pivot. And it was like they were pivoting on steroids. It is pretty remarkable for a big company, especially a large pharmaceutical company, to respond to such changing times so fast. Pfizer quickly developed and delivered the injectable COVID vaccine, as we know, and then they continued to improve it to make sure that it was appropriate for women that were pregnant and for kids, younger. They didn't stop there. In November, they announced that they will soon have a pill or an oral antiviral. And then this is a new form also Merck has, of course, but it will help them address a new population. So this new form is instead of a shot, people that are unvaccinated with mild, moderate COVID should have an option to take this pill within 3 to 5 days of being exposed that hopefully will prevent them from dying and from reducing hospitalization. So like any industry, there are different product forms that are important for evolving. In the music industry, what do we have? We had vinyl records, we had 8-track tapes, we had cassette, CDs, MP3 players, and we're back to vinyl again, of course. So Pfizer seems to be quickly evolving and providing us with various forms to address different segments. The second one is Facebook renaming themselves Meta. Now, they aren't as extreme as what we just talked about with Pfizer, but they are definitely putting themselves in a position to do a lot more pivoting soon. So in November, Mark Zuckerberg, of course, the founder of Facebook, he claimed that renaming his company is a signal that the company was branching out and linking into more than one product. And as you know, they have WhatsApp, Messenger, and they have Instagram. So he added that Meta was a better representation of what the company is working on. So they're getting ready. And this seems reasonable, but why now? It takes a lot of work for a company to rename itself, but it seems that they're responding to winds of change. And those winds are significant customer perception problems and scandals, their aging user base, other large companies changing their name like Google to Alphabet, right? And as our dear colleague Peter has been telling us, the digital world is embedding itself into our daily lives, and the metaverse could represent over 1 trillion market. So from a marketing lens, it's a perfect set of reasons to rename themselves now and to get themselves ready for the metaverse. And it doesn't hurt that they have an abundance of resources to pull off their strategy, of course. The third is Peloton. Unlike the first two, where Pfizer is extreme and Facebook is getting ready, Peloton is in the category of, yikes, what is our next pivot? Peloton was one of the lucky ones, of course. During the initial stage where we were all home, they enjoyed tremendous growth, and many of us actually became Peloton zealots. However, over the year, the company has been experiencing a tremendous slowdown in their business as more people are out of their homes. They're heading back to the gyms, they're taking in-person classes, and they're facing a lot stiffer competition from other fitness companies. So how does a company like Peloton compete, especially as they go into 2022? They're trying to do a couple things. One is they're lowering their price by $400 on their bike. That's a 20% discount. And they're trying to reintroduce the treadmill called Tread. But usually when you pull that price lever, it's a last resort. And often it's not very effective, especially in a market that could be saturated. And then reintroducing a treadmill that they had to pull off the market is probably going to be tricky, and it's at a lower margin. So it will be interesting to see how they pivot and develop some stronger strategies, hopefully ones that leverage that installed base of loyal monthly customers, the subscription base that they have. So what level did your company do in 2021? like Pfizer and very extreme? Were you moderate and getting ready for a big pivot like Meta? Or are you in the yipes category and you need to consider that? As you go into 2022, maybe it's about the different types of customers that you're going to target, or the different products or forms that you may consider, or that you're going to rebrand your company or a portion of your company. So thank you